What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel, and today we'll be talking about the best 22 for Port Adelaide in 2018. This will be my best 22 that should be on the park for round one, and obviously all opinions will be a little bit different, but it's a much anticipated topic to talk about, so let's get straight into our best 22 for this year. The best 22 is always a highly anticipated topic to talk about, and always fans have a different opinion on who should be in the 22, depending on obviously who their favourite player is, and they always pick it by name, and sometimes not always on form. But this 22 is purely based on form, so let's get straight into our backline for 2018, and I think all our backlines will be the same, because after a brilliant end of last year and the second best defence in the league, not a lot has to change for the club to pick a 22, and I think Kenny will be pretty happily pleased with who should be in the back line. So, starting in the right back pocket, it will be Tommy Jonas, outstanding leader down there and an absolute general at the moment, and he'll definitely stay in that back pocket and help out with some experience. Tom Cleary gets his spot at full back. Brilliant last year, especially with Jack Humps being injured, and almost basically pushed Tomshy out of the side based on pure form, and especially with another bloke that will be mentioned soon. Tommy Cleary is probably one of our best backlining, very underrated player as well, so looking forward to his 2018. Darcy Byrne-Jones, an absolute beast down in the backline. He will be in the left back pocket, taking any of the best small forwards from the opposition. He just knows how to shut down players, and he's a good runner too, and you might see him up higher up the ground as well, taking on the game a bit more, which we'd like to see from DBJ. Across the half back line now, Hamish Hartlett will start off in the right back flank. Loving his new role down in the back line, moving away from the midfield. I feel like that he can shine. He did have a couple of good games towards the end of last year, and he was getting a bit more consistent. And with his penetrating right foot kick, he's going to create a lot of runs. So he definitely gets his spot, and also obviously with his leadership role as well, he'll definitely contribute down there. And the bloke I was going to talk about is Dougal Howard at centre half back. I feel like he is going to be an absolute gun this year. He is someone to watch, and you would have seen you will see eventually a players to watch video on Dougal Howard, and I reckon he's going to be an absolute star. So look out for Dougal this year. Doing this video, obviously we know about the injuries of Jasper Pittard and Robbie Gray. Now Jasper Pittard has this role as the left back flank, but because he won't be playing round one, this round one side, Riley Bonner will be playing in his position, and he's going to be an absolute gun for this year. So Riley Bonner gets that position until Jasper comes back, and then it'll be touch and go on whether or not Riley gets his spot. On the wing, moving into the midfield now, Jared Pollock will start on the left wing position. That's his position. Nothing really needs to be said. He contributes every single week. Obviously, a little bit more from him would be nice, and if he can control his injuries a bit more, you're going to see him out on the park and really hammer his form in. And he's really damaging as well, can hit the scoreboard, so let's hope he does that a bit more this year. Taking that centre role will be Brad Ebert, two-way runner, excellent runner. He can run forward, kick a couple of goals, help out in defence, and he's just all over the place. So he gets that centre position, it's down-packed. Nothing more needs to be said about Evo, just an absolute gun. On the right wing, Travis Boak will take that position, and now obviously his form last year dropped a little bit, and they were changing positions. This is his position, a high half forward wing position, where I think he can be more damaging. If he needs to go in the midfield, we saw that if he hits the scoreboard, he really helps the team out, and he's just a barometer in the side. So Travis on the wing is perfect because he can go into that midfield. Perfect example was against the Bulldogs. We had 20 odd possessions, kicked a couple of goals. That's his perfect role, and that's what we need to see more of from Travis this year. Wing will be good for him. On the half forward flank, we are talking Stephen Motlop, the new recruit from Geelong. He will be taking that role across that half forward line, can move into the midfield. So perfect position for him. You'll see him really dominate, I feel, against quality opposition, and he really find his rhythm going into this year as well. And another new recruit who starred in the JLT game against the Crows, kicking 6 goals, Jack Watts, is going to be a brilliant runner going up and down the field, almost like a Justin Westhoff type, so taking that role, and that will release Westy to do a bit more up forward as well. Chad Wingard is on the left half forward flank. nothing more needs to be said about Chad. Just an absolute gun when it comes to kicking goals. And obviously we saw him move into the midfield. He will rack up those possessions too. So look out for him to become more of a midfield player, but also hitting the scoreboard as well. Moving into the full forward line now, we have Justin Westhoff in the pocket. You won't see him there too often. I reckon he'll kick a couple of goals here or there, but he'll just be moving around, doing what Westy does. It basically is a utility and just does his own thing, Westy. It's like a lost cause, but does the right thing for the club, which is good. Full forward, Charlie Dixon. Now, look, to be honest, you'll see Jack Watson, Charlie Dixon chopping and changing throughout the games this year, either going higher up the ground or staying deep, whichever way. It's good flexibility for Charlie, who likes to kick goals, but also roam about and really is a barometer down forward. So if Charlie's dominating, then the team is dominating as well, which is good. And Charlie Dixon had a phenomenal 2017. Look out for him. He may be an All-Australian centre-half forward or full forward this year, Charlie. In the other pocket is Sam Gray, the little pocket rocket, Sammy, who kicked 6 goals against the Gold Coast last year, and arguably his best game for the club. You'll see him do that more often, I think, this year. And obviously move into the midfield a bit more because he can rack up possessions. But I like him down forward. He's a real crummer. And he takes the stress off of Robbie Gray, who will be down there as well. Now, Robbie would be in this position for round 1, but obviously he's been suspended. So Sammy Gray will probably go to the bench when Robbie comes back. Right, in the on-ball position now, we've got Patrick Ryder. Who else would be there? Ruckman, just an absolute gun. All-Australian for 2017, and nothing needs to be said by the God himself, who's the best ruckman in the league. I don't care what you say. Next to him, crumbing off his beautiful taps, will be Ollie Wines, the absolute bull of a bloke in the middle there. We're just crunching through the contested possessions and just really setting us up inside the contest. And next to him will probably be his partner in crime, Tom Rockcliffe, who's the new recruit from Brisbane. You'll definitely see him absolutely dominate this year. I reckon he's going to be probably arguably our best recruit for the year. And his contested ball work, his tackling work is going to be really crucial in those big games. And with our first 5 or 6 games being really big games, I reckon Tommy Rockcliffe is going to take that next step to be a absolute gun for Port Adelaide. Moving to the bench for this year. Now, this is the biggest debate. Who finishes this bench? Who finishes the 22? Because those 18 I mentioned, you probably arguably keep them in the side. They're the best 18. Now, the bench is crucial. Now, I've gone for Dan Houston to start off the bench. He will be that replacement for, down half back, and just really rotate that half back flank and create that run with his great right foot kick that he has. Next to him will be the left footer, Carl Amon. I feel like Carl Amon deserves a spot in the side. He averaged 20 possessions last year in his 14 games and really took that next step forward to developing his game. And I reckon he'll take that role of playing on that wing half forward type when players like Wingard and that need a rest. So creates another option with a left foot kick. The next ball himself, Sam Powell-Pepper, starting on the bench. You'll see him play his normal game, half forward, in the middle, playing at centre underneath Paddy Ryder. And now this is the last position on the ground, and I really feel like he's proved enough to play in the best 22. And I reckon it's Don Barry. Don Barry deserves his spot on the side. He's got a great speed. He's got a good left foot kick as well. And he really proved to a lot of players and I reckon to the coaches as well that he deserves his spot. And I reckon you'll see him play round 1. So that wraps up the best 22. Now I'll just tell you the blokes that messed out. Obviously, Robbie Gray suspended. Jasper Pittard injured. Missed round 1. So that's why they're not mentioned on the screen. But they will be in the best 22. Obviously, they'll chop and change. So you'll probably see Barry come out for Robbie Gray, and you might see Bonner come out for Pittard, because obviously you want to balance that half-back flank out with a lot of players that can go through that position. So unfortunately, Bonner and Barry will probably miss out. Emergencies as well that will probably be in the side throughout the year. You've got Jakey Neag, you've got Trent McKenzie, you've got Jack Humps, Trengove, and possibly even Marshall. They're 5 emergencies you'll see throughout the year as well. And a lot of new players as well that will come through the side and maybe even get a game or 2. So, yeah, that's a lot of players that have the potential to be in the best 22. And you definitely... It's a good problem to have with a lot of depth. And I think it's going to be a hard team to pick for round 1. So I say good luck, Kenny and the coaches, because I got no idea. I struggled writing this down. I really struggled. So It's an exciting year and a lot of talent coming through the side with the existing talent we already have. I'm looking forward to round one. Well, that wraps up the best 22 for 2018. Let me know in the comments below what you think, Port fans, of that 22 and who should be playing instead. What's your best 22 and who you got hopes for this year to really improve and take the next step. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please tune into the Porters podcast on 8 PM Wednesdays where you catch me and the fellow boys talking all things Port Adelaide and previewing this round one that's only 10 days away. I'm keen. Thank you very much for watching, Port fans. My name is Anthony and obviously, come on the pair.